These are sayings from the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe. It's known that in this world, there's things called bad, bad. The Torah defines what is bad and what's good, but there's things even in the world that everybody knows is not good. For instance, to be depressed, to be addicted. These are bad things. Of course, there's always going to be societies and people say nothing is bad, whatever you want is good, but that itself is bad. A person feels he's got no purpose in the world, he has no reason to wake up, or he gets caught up in how do you say, diverted, detoured to all sorts of bad purposes and bad things, and there's other. Till eventually, there's even wars that are fought because people are devoted. Right, the Nazis want to destroy the world, the communists want to destroy the world. I mean, all these things are bad. Well, every human being is a small world. Every human being is a small world, and it's possible for every human being to be caught up in selfish things. Genuinely speaking, generally speaking, selfishness is the cause of I say of decline, like death, different stages of death. The beginning of one's decline, of losing any purpose of life. And here the Rebbe is talking about losing any connection with Torah and the commandments. The beginning of decline is, for a religious Jew, is the lack of putting any effort into prayer. Now, as we said so many times before, you have to get a Jewish prayer book in order to understand what's going on over here. But for instance, the Psalms of King David. King David was not an author. He wasn't a gifted poet. King David was expressing his connection to God. Sometimes his desperation to God. God, why have I got so many enemies? He was crying out to God. He was praising God. He was loving God. He was in awe of God. He was expressing this. And it became one of the books of the Torah. It's not a book of literature. In other words, the main thing of prayer, that's the book of the Psalms, is emotion. Emotion, genuine emotion, true love of God, true awe of God, true connection to God, true belief in God, true. That's called avoda because it's not natural. People naturally do not love God. They do not. It requires a lot of work. That's what we learned in Likutei Torah. A person really has to think deeply. Is it really so? And then you have to learn from experience in world, right? Am I really putting what I believe into practice? Is it really, why not? Why is it not really affecting my heart? That's called, when there's a lack of service of God in prayer, you just say the words, then everything becomes dry and cold. Right? Like I said, when life loses its mystery, then everything becomes dry and cold. Life, Judaism, is a big mystery. Every detail of it. A big miracle. Then, even if you're a religious Jew, if you don't have any emotion, if there's no mystery in prayer, no mystery in godliness, no in your life, everything becomes cold. Every commandment, you do it just by habit, and it becomes burdensome. You want to do it as quickly as possible. Everything is rushed. You lose your sense of pleasure in learning the Torah. The whole atmosphere around you becomes very mundane. Needless to say, you have no possibility of influencing others. You're not excited about, and if you do influence others, then others can see through it. It becomes revealed. Therefore, the whole beginning of it is having excitement in prayer. And the only way you can have excitement in prayer is to know who you're praying to. You're praying to God. And the only way you can really understand that, at least facilitate it tremendously, is by learning Chassidut. That's the whole purpose of Chassidut, that we should be excited about serving the creator of the universe. Okay. Now,